Good morning, dear children. I welcome you all to Social Science online class. Standard 8, Civics, Unit 4. The topic is Human Rights and UNO, United Nations Organization. Dear children, before I could start this lesson, I would like to ask a few questions. Okay? As a human being, we have some rights. Isn't it? So, as a student, what is your right? As a student, what is your right? Yes, right to education, right to life, right to liberty, freedom of speech and expression. Very good. Dear children, there are 6 fundamental rights. Already you have studied in the 6th standard and 7th standard. Okay? Do you know that 6 fundamental rights? Yes. Right to equality, freedom of speech and expression, right against exploitation, right to religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Okay? Dear children, when do we celebrate the Human Rights Day? Every year, 10th December, we celebrate Human Rights Day. Okay? Now, we are going to learn about human rights and UNO. Human rights and UNO. The learning objectives of this lesson is to understand what human rights are, understand the relationship between rights and responsibility, to understand the importance of human rights, understand that human rights belong to everybody, appreciate the meaning and the significance of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948. Okay? Dear children, what are human rights? Human rights are inherent to all human beings regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language and religion. What is the meaning of ethnicity? It means belonging to a some group. In Tamil, Inam. Okay. Human rights include freedom from slavery and torture. Then freedom of opinion and expression. The human rights to life, work and education. Okay. Where do these human rights come from? Where do these human rights come from? Do you know that? Yes. A set of basic rights and freedom has deep roots in European and American countries. Okay. Now we will see written precursors of human rights documents. Written precursors of human rights documents. First one, the Magna Carta of 1215. Here, the written precursors of human rights documents. First one, Magna Carta. What is the meaning of Magna Carta? Which means the Great Charter, Maga Sasanam. It is one of the most important documents in history, as it established the principles that everyone is subject to the law, even the king. We are all equal before law. Even king also equal before law. Second one, the Petition of Rights 1628. Petition of Rights 1628. This Petition of Rights passed on 7th June 1628. Set of the rights of the people. இது மக்கள் உரிமைகளின் தொகுப்பு என்று கூறப்படுகிறது. This Petition of Rights reportedly of equal value to Magna Carta. Okay. Now third one, the Habeas Corpus Act of 1679. the Habeas Corpus Act of 1679. This act for the better securing liberty of the subject. இது மக்களின் சுதந்திரத்தை பாதுகாப்பதற்கான ஒரு சட்டமாக அமைகிறது. Okay. The last one, the US Constitution and Bill of Rights 1791. This US Constitution and Bill of Rights safeguards the rights of citizen. We are the citizen of India. What is the meaning of citizen, children? Citizen means one who legally accepted as the member of a particular country is called as a citizen. Who is the first citizen of India? President is the first citizen of India. At present, who is the President of India? Do you know, children? Yes, our Honorable President Ramnath Kovind is the President of India. He is designated as the first citizen of India. We also citizen of India. President also citizen of India. Why he is called as the first citizen of India? Because he is head of the Union Executive and also he is the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. So he is called as the first citizen of India. Next we will see the birth of United Nations. The idea of human rights emerged stronger after the Second World War. The Second World War started in the year 1939. It ended 1945. Okay. During the time of war, human lives lost its value and those affected by war had to struggle till the end of their life. It is proved that the government of some countries alone could not protect human rights. People wanted to ensure that never again would anyone be unjustly denied life, freedom, food, shelter and nationality. The United Nations Charter was drafted in the year 1945. UNO, United Nations Organization, which was established on 24th October 1945, took up the issue. Next we will see the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It was adopted by the UN General Assembly in the year 1948. Okay. It is a milestone document. மைல்கல் என்று கூறுவார்கள். Okay. It is a milestone document in the history of human rights. The declaration was proclaimed by the UN General Assembly in Paris, France on 10th December 1948. In remembrance of every year, 10th December is observed as the Human Rights Day. It is also known as Magna Carta of Human Rights. Okay, children. Next we will see the Cyrus cylinder. The Cyrus cylinder 539 BC. Cyrus the Great, the first king of ancient Persia. He freed the slaves and declared that all people had the right to choose their own religion. We have the right to choose our religion, no? Like that. What he declared? He declared that all people had the right to choose their own religion and established racial equality. These and other decrees were recorded on a baked clay cylinder in the Akkadian language in cuneiform script. It is translated in 6 official languages of the United Nations, and its provisions parallel the first 4 articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, next we will see that human rights are based on the values of dignity, justice, and equality. Once again, human rights are based on the values of dignity, justice, and equality. Okay, dignity in Tamil it is called Ganniyam. Okay, the right to life. We have the right to life. நமக்கு என்ன இருக்கு? வாழ உரிமை இருக்கு. Okay, right to life. The right to integrity. The prohibition of organized labor, slavery, and degrading punishment. That is called dignity. Next one, justice, needi. The rights to fair trial, proportional punishment to crime, the right not to be tried more than once for the same crime. ஒரே குற்றத்திற்காக பலமுறை தண்டனை கொடுக்கக்கூடாது. Okay, that is about justice. Next one, equality. We are all equal before law. That is called equality. Then, no discrimination on race, religion, gender, age, ability or disability, etc. Okay, next we will see basic characteristics of human rights. Basic characteristics of human rights. First one, inherent. It means இயல்பானவை. They are not granted by any person or authority. In Tamil, எந்த ஒரு நபராலும் அதிகாரத்தாலும் வழங்கப்படுவதில்லை. Okay, second one, fundamental. What is fundamental? அடிப்படை ஆனவை. They are fundamental rights because without them the life and dignity of man will be meaningless. So there should be fundamental. Okay, அடிப்படை உரிமை இல்லை என்றால் மனிதனின் வாழ்க்கையும் அவனுடைய கண்ணியமும் என்னாகும்? அர்த்தமில்லாமல் மாறிவிடும். Okay, so we need fundamentals. Third one, inalienable. In Tamil, மாற்ற முடியாதவை. They cannot be taken away from the individual. They cannot be taken away from the individual. தனி நபரிடமிருந்து பிரிக்க முடியாதவை. It is called inalienable. Next one, indivisible. What is that? Indivisible. பிரிக்க முடியாதவை. They cannot be denied even when other rights have already been enjoyed. They cannot be denied even when other rights have already been enjoyed. அடிப்படை உரிமைகளை மறக்க முடியாது. Okay, last one, interdependent. What is that? Interdependent. In Tamil it is called சார்புடையவை. Because the fulfillment or exercise of one human right cannot be had without the relations of other. Okay, அதாவது in Tamil ஒரு உரிமையை பயன்படுத்தும் போது மற்றொன்றை உணராமல் நாம் இருக்க முடியாது. இதற்கு பெயர்தான் சார்புடையவை. What is that? சார்புடையவை. Interdependent. Next we will see the kinds of human rights. There are 30 articles incorporated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. These rights are broadly classified into 5 primary categories. They are civil rights, political rights, social rights, economic rights, and cultural rights. First we will see civil rights. வாழ்வியல் உரிமைகள். The term civil rights refers to the basic rights offered by the laws of the government to every person. This is the right to be treated as an equal to anyone else. It includes the rights to life, liberty, freedom from slavery, and arbitrary arrest. Now we will see political rights. Political rights are exercised in the formation and administration of a government. Political rights refer to an individual's ability to participate in the civil and political life of the society and state without fear of discrimination or repression and is tied closely to citizenship status. The civil and political rights are directly related to modern democracy. What is democracy, children? Democracy is a system in which the government of a country is elected by the people. Democracy is the form of government in which the common people hold political power and can rule either directly or through elected representatives. Here, they protect the individual from the misuse of political power and recognize every individual's right to participate in their country's political process. It includes the freedom of expression and a peaceful assembly, the right to take part in the government of one's country, the right to vote, the freedom of speech, and obtain information. Dear children, what is the voting age in India? Yes, the voting age in India is 18 years. Okay. Why is the voting age 18 in India? Do you know? The present day youth are literate and enlightened, and the lowering of the voting age would be provide to the unrepresented youth of the country an opportunity to give vent to their feelings and help them become a part of the political process. It is therefore proposed to reduce the voting age from 21 years to 18 years. Now we will see social rights. It is very necessary for an individual to fully participate in the society. Social rights are those rights necessary for an adequate standard of living, including the right to education, health care, food, clothing, shelter, and social security. Now we will see economic rights. பொருளாதார உரிமைகள். The right to participate in an economy that benefits all and to desirable work. Economic rights guarantee every person to have conditions under which they are able to meet their needs. This includes the rights to employment and fair wage, the reasonable limitation of working hours, shelter, education, and adequate standard of living, and the right to property. பொருளாதார உரிமைகள் என்பது பொருளாதாரத்தில் பங்கேற்பதற்கான உரிமை என்பது அனைவருக்கும் பயனளிக்கக்கூடிய வகையில் விரும்பத்தக்க வேலைக்கு செல்வதாகும். ஒவ்வொரு தனிநபரும் தங்களின் தேவைகளை பூர்த்தி செய்யக்கூடிய நிலைமை இருப்பதை உறுதி செய்கிறது. வேலைவாய்ப்பு, நியாயமான ஊதியத்திற்கான உரிமைகள், நியாயமான வேலை, தங்குமிடம், கல்வி, போதுமான வாழ்க்கை தரம் மற்றும் சொத்துரிமை ஆகிய உரிமைகள் இதில் அடங்கும். Now we will see cultural rights. கலாச்சார உரிமைகள். The right to freedom of religion and to speak the language and to practice the cultural life of the community, the right to share in scientific advancement, the right to the protection of moral and material interest. Now we will see Human Rights Commission, மனித உரிமைகள் ஆணையம். The Economic and Social Council, a principal organ of the United Nations, was empowered to set up a commission for the promotion of human rights. National level and state level human rights commissions were established to ensure the protection of human rights. Now we will see National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. The National Human Rights Commission of India was established on 12th October 1993. When it established on 12th October 1993. It is an independent, statutory and non-constitutional body. Statutory means decided by law. Its headquarters is located in New Delhi. NHRC is a multi-member body which consists of chairperson and other members. The president appoints the chairperson and other members. They are appointed for 5 years or till the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. NHRC has 5 divisions: Law Division, Investigation Division, Policy Research and Programs Divisions, Training Division and Administrative Division. The National Human Rights Commission is reasonable for the protection and promotion of human rights in India. Now I explain in Tamil, children. Listen. தேசிய மனித உரிமைகள் ஆணையம். இந்தியாவின் தேசிய மனித உரிமைகள் ஆணையம் 1993 அக்டோபர் 12ஆம் நாள் நிறுவப்பட்டது. இது சுதந்திரமான, சட்டபூர்வமான, அரசியலமைப்பு சாராத ஓர் அமைப்பாகும். இதன் தலைமையகம் புதுடெல்லியில் அமைந்துள்ளது. தேசிய மனித உரிமைகள் ஆணையம் என்பது ஒரு தலைவரையும் பிற உறுப்பினர்களையும் உள்ளடக்கிய ஓர் அமைப்பாகும். தலைவரையும் உறுப்பினர்களையும் குடியரசுத் தலைவர் நியமிக்கிறார். அவர்களின் பதவிக்காலம் 5 ஆண்டுகள் அல்லது 70 வயது வரை. இதில் எது முன்னதாக வருகிறதோ அதுவரை பதவியில் நீடிப்பர். தேசிய மனித உரிமைகள் ஆணையம் 5 பிரிவுகளை கொண்டுள்ளது. சட்டப்பிரிவு, புலனாய்வு பிரிவு, ஆராய்ச்சி மற்றும் திட்டப்பிரிவு, பயிற்சி அளித்தல் பிரிவு மற்றும் நிர்வாக பிரிவு ஆகியனவாகும். Next we will see State Human Rights Commission. The State Human Rights Commission of Tamil Nadu was formed on 17th April 1997. It functions at the state level. It consists of 3 members, including a chairperson. A State Human Rights Commission can inquire into violation of human rights related to subject covered under state list and concurrent list in the 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Now we will see Human Rights Organization. Many organizations around the world have taken their efforts to protect human rights and for ending human rights abuses. These non-governmental organizations monitor the actions of governments and pressure them to act according to human rights principle. Some of these organizations are Amnesty International, Children's Defense Fund, Human Rights Watch. Now we will see Indian Constitution article. Article number 24 prohibits child labor. What is child labor, children? Give some examples. Yes. Child labor refers to the exploitation of children through any form of work that deprives children of their childhood, interferes with their ability to attend regular school, and is mentally, physically, socially, or morally harmful. Article number 39. It provides for children to develop in healthy manner. Article number 45 provides that the state shall endeavor to provide early childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years. Now we will see child rights. According to Article 1 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child 1989, a child means every human being below the age of 18 years. A child means every human being below the age of 18 years. The Convention of the Rights of the Child was proclaimed by UN on 20th November 1989. The child is considered as an important national asset. The future of a nation depends on how its children mature and develop. So, protection of children from all kinds of exploitation and abuses has become the main objective of our society. There are laws in India protecting the rights of the children. Right to Education Act. Article 21A provides that the state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children aged 6 to 14 years. The Child Labor Act 1986. It provides no child who has not completed 15 years of age can be employed. The Juvenile Justice Act 2000. This act tries to protect children deprived of adequate care and to reform the children by adopting child-friendly approach. Next we will see POCSO Act 2012. What is POCSO Act 2012? The Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 is applicable to the whole of India. The POCSO Act 2012 defines a child as any person below the age of 18 years and provides protection to all children under the age of 18 years from sexual abuse. It also intends to protect the child through all stages of judicial process and gives paramount importance to the principle of best interest of the child. Child Line number 1098. This is India's first 24 hours free emergency phone service for children in need of assistance. Special care is given for weak children, those affected by child labor, child marriage, and children affected by any abuse. குழந்தைகளுக்கான உதவி மைய எண் 1098. இது இந்தியாவில் முதலாக அறிமுகப்படுத்தப்பட்ட 24 மணி நேர கட்டணமில்லா அவசர தொலைத்தொடர்பு சேவையாகும். குழந்தை தொழிலாளர்கள், குழந்தை திருமணம் மற்றும் ஏதேனும் வன்கொடுமை ஆகியவற்றால் பாதிக்கப்பட்ட குழந்தைகளுக்கு சிறப்பு கவனம் செலுத்தப்படுகிறது. Now we will see women rights. Women and girls' rights are also human rights. Women are entitled to the full and equal enjoyment of all of their human rights and to be free from all forms of discrimination. This is fundamental to achieve human rights, peace and security and sustainable development. The Charter of the United Nations guaranteed equal rights to both women and men. ஐக்கிய நாடுகளின் சபையின் சாசனம் பெண்கள் மற்றும் ஆண்கள் இருவருக்கும் சமமான உரிமைகளை உறுதி செய்கிறது. In 1995, the Fourth World Conference of Women held in Beijing developed a platform for action to recognize women's rights and improve women's livelihood worldwide and follow up meetings monitored progress towards meeting these goals. The United Nations Development Fund for Women has worked since 1995 to implement the Beijing Platform for Action. Only when women and girls have full access to their rights will true equality exist. Dear children, I conclude this lesson by saying that human rights are about equality and fairness for everyone, and it ensures that everyone is treated with dignity and respect. The protection of human rights is everyone's responsibility, and understanding and respect for human rights provides the functions for peace, harmony, security, and freedom in our community. Thank you, children. God bless you all.